if you are with your partner and he will bring his penis really close to your vagina and it really slowly would move a little bit inside. And then if you're really present together and just breathing and being open to what comes, the vagina can eventually really pull the penis in. And it's not something that you as a woman that you do actively. So you don't have to think, oh, I have to make this movement, but it will make the movement itself and like really inviting it in and pulling it in.
I'm Jo Sarah, and welcome to the Umaversity podcast, empowering you with real talk, real education, and real stories from our experts and our tribe of women who've got your back. Our mission? Educating 1 billion women worldwide on their mental, body, and sexual wellness journey. So join me, learn something new as we build our badass tribe. Welcome to the Umaversity podcast. Today we'll be diving into the importance of the womb-heart connection, the energetic power of the pelvic floor, and practical tips on feeling more grounded and connected. I'm joined today by Renske Kuiper, who is an integrated pelvic floor expert, a breathwork coach with over 12 years of experience as a midwife. She's all about connecting women to their womb and their pelvic floor for more empowerment, more creativity, and healing. Welcome, Renske.
Thank you. Really nice to hear.
I'm super excited for today because you have a lot to tell and teach us about the pelvic floor, the womb, and everything. So what led you to become an integrated pelvic floor expert?
I think it all comes from this deeper knowing, like this longing of myself to understand my body, to learn about my body and to feel home in my own body. So I think it all started with myself, and even so many years ago, because also when I think why I became a midwife, this is also something that is not something that's thought through. I started it a little bit later. I was 27 when I started studying to become a midwife. Also, this was driven, I think, by this deeper knowing and this longing of partly also wanting to guide women through their process, through what they're going through. And now also in this next part where I work not only with pregnant women, but also with women of all ages. And it's my own journey. And then also I see how incredibly important it is to, maybe first of all, the most important thing is that it's so much fun and brings so much joy to actually really live in your own body and feel free in your own body and feel free with your own sexuality and all these things that come from bringing balance in your pelvic area and feeling vital. Yeah, I think it all comes from a longing I had myself and also this deeper knowing that drove me to get here.
That's very beautiful because it came from you, right?
Yeah.
You felt that longing yourself.
Yeah.
So what does an integrated pelvic floor therapist do?
So it's a more holistic approach of health. We help women restore balance in the pelvic area in a more holistic way. So we work on several layers, on a more physical layer, emotional layer, energetic layer. And in that way, to really take everything along and not only the physical part or not only the energetic part, but really to combine those things. You can do it for many reasons. You can have sessions for many reasons. But in general, it all helps to create a balance, vitality, connection, and grounding, which helps you to live more freely and to really be yourself. And for many women who, because of tension that might be stored in the pelvis or other emotions that create an imbalance and that create maybe pain with having sex or incontinence problems or other problems. And there are many women that live with problems and pain and they shouldn't. But first of all, also if you don't have any problems, maybe you don't notice you feel stagnant in life or you don't feel joyful, you don't feel free to be free with your sexual self. That might not be really present there or that you really notice these things. But then if you start connecting and really working with your own body, connecting with your pelvic area, but also with your heart, and from there live your life, then so much magic is there and magic happens.
Did you experience that yourself as well?
Yes, of course, this is a whole journey by itself. And I also tell my clients, it's not that I live like this every day. For me, it's a journey as well. And it's never always there, continuously present. So for me, it's an ongoing process and a learning process. When you allow yourself to really kind of as a childlike, curious feeling to see, okay, what is there for me today to explore and to feel. And I also still can be really stuck and not present. And I have much more the tools now to bring myself back and to ground myself and to really notice also when I'm not. Yeah.
That you are also in the journey yourself and you're teaching everything that you experience by your life experience. Yeah. You talk about the womb and the pelvic areas as in a very important place for women, right?
Yeah.
So why is the pelvic area and the womb such an important area for women?
So you can look at it from several angles. So you have really your physical body, and it's your pelvic area is a connection between your upper body and your lower body. Your whole sexual organ is there, reproductive organ, your bladder. So there's a lot of important organs in your pelvic area. But also seen from a more Eastern philosophy to see, so if you combine those two, and so to not only say that it's from here or it's from here, but so your pelvic area is your foundation, in life, it's your foundation in yourself. It's really the place where you come home to yourself. It's the place where you feel safe, where your safety is, your sexuality, your creativity. So all those things, if you see how much they play a role in your daily life, if you're not grounded, if you don't feel safe, then you go into the world completely different than if you do. Yeah, that first of all is really important. And then, like I already talked a little bit about before, also the pelvic area is like this. It's this one of the big centers in your body. And in our whole body, like a lot of things that we come through in life, sometimes stress that we have, trauma in either a physical part, but also emotionally, a lot of it is stored in the body. And also a big part of that is stored in your pelvic area. There's this huge muscle that goes through from your spine through your pelvic area to your legs, the psoas muscle. And this is a muscle that is really important, for example, if you really need to run or like fight or flight, then this muscle, it works. So that first of all, that is like, it goes through your whole pelvic area. In so many other parts, you can store things. So it's a really important place to work on, like I said, the balance and the vitality, to move all this stagnant energy and to give space to it so that, everything can move freely again.
I never saw the pelvic area like so important how you just explain it right now. Because I always thought, it's just pelvic floor muscles. They can be tight or not. There is so much more to it.
So many layers. So it's also, when I'm telling you this and I'm explaining it, it's like, what do I tell first and where to go? Because if I go to one of these areas, then you can make a whole other podcast just about that.
So what is the most important part that women should know about the pelvic area?
Well, I think first of all that it's there and that it's so beautiful, that it's so full of aliveness, that it's there for you.
Use it to work for you instead of against you.
Yeah.
And do you have any tips on how women can do that?
Your body is there for you. And a lot of times when people have pain or problems, they want to get rid of it. And I completely understand that, because if I have it myself, I also am like, I want to get rid of it, and I can be a little bit impatient. But your body is there for you. So a lot of times if you experience pain, it's your body telling you something, and your body is there to work with you. And once you learn more and more about how your body works, how your, for example, how your nervous system works, how your, other things in your body work, then you start to notice that it's actually there for you. And when you listen more to it and learn to listen to the language of the body, it's actually really nice to play and to play more with everything that is there, and to listen. And there's a whole other world to explore.
Wow. And can you give an example of the language of the pelvic area?
Well, maybe the language of the body, because I think that's better said, and that can be the pelvic area or other parts. So the language of the body, it's when you start to listen, and it's known as the felt sense, for example. That's a part of it. And the felt sense is like this animal kind of feeling that's going on inside your body. It can be tingling or dense, for example, or feel really woody or bubbly. So it's all this not really language that we normally use for our bodies. this feeling inside that can sometimes just also be really soft. So it's also really to open up more for it and to listen to, hey, what's going on in my body? So this is a part of it, but your body can also talk to you through images you see, or movement, emotions. We live in a society where I learned as a kid that you should sit still in where you are and what you do and in class, and I could never sit still. And we are, of course, all different. And that's also the beauty of it, that nobody is the same. But maybe you see when I talk, I really need to move. And that is also a language of my body. And once I learned more and more about this, it's often when we have certain situations in life, and I can give the example of a stress situation, our minds made us think that, oh, if I do this now, if I do this movement, if I make this sound, then people might think that I'm scared, or that I'm weak, or that I don't want to see that people see me like this. So they stop doing this. So they stop either the movement that comes from their body, they stop the emotion that comes up. All these things are ways for the body to express, but also to release tension that might be built up. So whether there's an emotion that comes up or a movement, when you stop it, it is stored in your body somewhere, throughout your life. And it's not per se that to say immediately that it's bad, but eventually if it's stored more and more and more, this will have an effect. So also in your pelvic area, if every time, for example, if you're with your partner and you experience pain, then every time you go through it, it's a memory there and it's stored there. And eventually that might give other problems because it's not listened to.
And do you notice this a lot with the clients that you work with?
Yeah, and I mean, we all have stored tension in our body. That's just in daily life we're not used to. So it's okay, but it's good to see, okay, so how I will store certain things in my daily life, but how do I work with that? And you asked me, do I see it with clients? Yeah, I think a lot of people are not really aware of the language of the body. Mm-hmm. And it's so beautiful once you start listening to it more and more. And so that's what I love to do, to teach clients to listen more to their body. What's really important, and that's for so many people, and good to hear that with these kind of things, it's really about slowing down. And our minds often go really fast and really want something. So also when clients come to me, I also explain to them, you really are maybe driven and enthusiastic about working on the thing that you come for, and in your mind you're like, okay, let's go, let's do this, let's go for this session, but your body is different. You're visiting me maybe for the first time, maybe you feel nice and safe with me, but your body is still like, okay, I don't know this woman yet. So you really have to
take it step by step.
Step by step. And that's one of the really key and beautiful things about the integral pelvic therapy, is that we work with embodied consent. And that means that everything we do is for you, and you really need to feel whole embodied yes. A lot of times in life when things were done, maybe you had a pap smear or something else, they give the information that the doctor wants to do the pap smear. You're given the information why it's being done, and maybe they also tell you how they're doing it. But then also, do you really know why it's done? These questions are really important. So what are we going to do? Why are we going to do it? And how are we going to do it? And that's the informed consent. But then comes the next step, is that everybody is different. So when it is done to you, then we'll go into, okay, what are we doing? And once something is done, and it's done when you actually really feel a completely yes, okay, because you also maybe want to know what is happening, and your whole body is like, okay, we can do now, we can start. And it's being asked to you. You can say when we can start. For example, I would say to a client, so what we can start with, and then I explain for that client why we would do that I put my hand on your lower belly. Do you want me to do that? And this person really starts to feel, do I really want that? And not only with my mind, but also really with my heart and my belly, you could say, with my whole body, I feel a yes. When you feel that yes, then the next question is there. Then tell me when you're ready. And then you also feel in, when am I ready? And then when you're ready, I put my hand on your belly. And that whole process of learning to feel your yes, and also experiencing things that are for you and that you can receive when you are ready, that's like a whole journey in itself also for a lot of people. and really healing to notice, okay, this whole session is for me, and to really be able to receive that.
When I think about like the pap smears that I've had, I've never heard this question. Like, you tell me when you're ready. It's just like, I'm going to do this right now. Okay, I'm inserting.
Yeah.
And then I always feel tension, and with tension comes pain. Yeah.
And then this is stored in your body as an experience.
And also, for instance, like if you experience sexual trauma, that is also stored in your body, right? Yeah. So then they could be very triggering, a pap smear, for instance.
Yeah, definitely. And I also working as a midwife, because the beautiful thing is everybody is unique, so everybody's different. So some people also with their bodies would be like, okay, I'm ready. But other people need more time. And when interventions are done, I saw that as a midwife. Yeah, I started realizing also that it's often not about the intervention that's done, about how it's done, when it's done, by who, and if this person was really ready to receive the intervention. Because often there's never, or not never, but often it's not really an emergency. I always said, yeah, of course it's different in those situations when some things really need to be done. But mostly there's always time. If you give somebody their time they need, they will have a whole different experience.
Yeah, well, thank you for shedding some light on that, because it often gets forgotten, in especially in clinics or in hospitals, where you have a certain amount of time that you have to fit in, and the procedure or whatever you need to do needs to get done in that moment. And it's also a difficult situation. Yeah.
Doctors and other caregivers are not trained to work like this, but also the training that I did, and also the two women that started this method really want to put this out into the world. I really hope that more and more people start working like this.
Is there like a surprising fact about the pelvic floor that often women don't know?
If I work, for example, internally, which is good to mention, not necessarily what we need to go to. The pelvic therapy can also be only on the outside, but we can also work on the inside. When your body and your whole pelvic area, so also your vulva, your vagina, they really feel a yes, that I'm welcome. That if something goes into the vagina, if I feel with my finger, or for example, also if you're with a partner, also like the penis of your partner. But as an example, if I go with my finger, if I'm invited inside, the vagina will make this movement of pulling it inside. So also if you are with your partner and he will bring his penis really close to your vagina and really slowly would move a little bit inside, and then if you're really present together and just breathing and being open to what comes, the vagina can eventually really pull the penis in. And it's not something that you as a woman that you do actively, so you don't have to think, I have to make this movement, but it will make the movement itself, and like really inviting it in and pulling it in.
It's actually such a nicer way of having penetrative sex than just the penis getting shoved in, right? So that's a beautiful exercise.
It has to be a little bit in, of course,
just like a little
through
bit.
The lips, and maybe. So I don't want to make people disappointed if they try it and it's not working, and they think, oh, with me it's not working. But it also takes a little bit of patience, and also to really feel, because it's a really subtle feeling. But once you start feeling it, then it will come.
First, that's with awareness and slowing down, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah, and being patient, because when I work internally and I put my finger near the entrance, with some women, like immediately I'm pulled in. And with others, it takes more time. And everything is normal and everything is okay. So there's not a I'm slow or I'm fast. It's just different. And that's really important, that when it takes more time, and maybe even you could say maybe the first time you do it, maybe it even takes 10 minutes or 20 minutes, or maybe the first time it is not working because your body just might say no on a really deeper level.
And you also talk about the heart-womb connection, right? Why is this connection so important between the heart and the womb?
Yeah, it's a beautiful connection and really important. So your heart is like your self. It's like the connection between your body and your soul. I think more Eastern way they say it's your inner sun. So if you think about also the sun in our life, so nothing can live without the sun. So it's like your source of fuel. It's
your chi.
Yeah, your chi. And the source also, like if you think of love, like the heart is of course of love and the energy that it gives. So with women, your womb area is the area where you receive. If you're not connected with your heart, and if it's not like fueled by the love, by the sun of your heart, then it's much more difficult to be open to receive. So the whole connection, it's like the heart fuels the womb, and the womb is like the place where everything is created. I always love to say it's like this whole universe in itself, where if you like literally, like with humans, if you put a seed inside of it, like life is created there, but also many other things can be created from there.
Yeah, because they say, for instance, in the chakras, the womb is often the sacral or the roots chakra, right? And that's where the center of creativity is.
Yeah.
And also sexuality and body energy, right?
Yeah. And if you think about the sexual energy, because the sexual energy it's like this motor, this fire that burns. It's a different fire that gives energy than, for example, the heart. Yeah, it's the center where if you want to create things, you need to go there. You need to go there and connect.
And do you have any tips on how to make this heart-womb connection stronger?
Yeah, so it's really beautiful because in like Eastern medicine, they call the connection between the heart and the womb, they call it the bao mai. And it's like this vessel. First of all, it's really important to be conscious of it. And I always say, like the connection, the vessel is always there. And once you give, like everything that you give attention, breath and touch will come alive. So if you take your time and to first connect with your heart, maybe place a hand on your heart and place your other hand on your lower belly and start with just a couple of breaths towards your heart first. And maybe feel also to picture this golden light that is there like the sun. And then mostly I say just go see this golden thread that goes down and goes towards your womb area, and to connect with your lower hand. And to really see also it arriving in that area, and also in that area that this golden light is really glowing. So this is something that I use or that I say, but you can also, of course, use your own color or use your own images that work for you. But really take a little bit of time to consciously connect with your heart and then with your womb, and then also the connection between them. And then you go back up from your womb to your heart. And maybe you repeat that a couple of times and really feel and breathe. Once you also send your breath there. And that's it.
Wow. Okay.
And if you do that every now and then, or whenever you feel disconnected, when you think I need some attention.
I never thought that there was a connection like that. But that's a very beautiful way to describe it.
Yeah.
I will definitely practice this.
Yeah.
Because we're not taught this at all. We're just taught, you have a womb and you have a heart. But there's so much more to it. And what are the benefits of having a strong heart-womb connection?
That's a really good question. If you're not aware of the connection, or if the connection is not there, then your creativity will come less alive.
So a strong heart-womb connection creates creativity.
Yeah, and a good flow of it. I mean, your heart is really also about what do I long in life? What are my desires? But to actually put them into form and to put them into the world, you need your womb connection. So one doesn't go without the other. So like this twin connection.
Of course, I know a lot about manifesting and everything.
Yeah.
You could actually say your heart's desires are in your heart. And then your womb, the creativity, the body energy, the sexuality is where that helps you manifest what you desire.
Yeah.
I've never seen it like that in such a way to make it physical, That's very beautiful.
You plant your seeds into the womb, and then there it will come to life.
Because I do notice that when I'm, for instance, more sexually active, I am so creative. And I am more connected with my heart. That is very true.
When you are just only in your sexuality, but it's not connected to your heart, it also gives, it doesn't do what it otherwise does.
So if I just can summarize, the benefits of the heart-womb connection is you have more flow of creativity, you have a stronger connection to your sexuality. There's all those things that can happen, right? And you just, of course, feel more connected to your desires, and you can actually manifest your desires.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. A very important part of the pelvic floor is the clitoris, right?
Yes.
So that's this beautiful clitoris right here. It's a whole organ. It's not a little nub that we all think it might be. It's a whole organ. So why is the clitoris so important?
Well, the whole area is important, and they all the parts of your sexual organ, of your pelvic area, have their own uniqueness and their own function and their own beauty. For me, it's like this, you could say, this golden arch that is at the entrance of your vulva, of your sexuality, of your temple, whatever you want to call it, of your body. I mean, it's the entrance to your femininity, to receive. It's like also, we talked about the embodied consent, and to really feel a yes for somebody or something to come in. So for me, like, the clitoris is this golden, maybe even this powerful entrance that is there. So that to start with. And then it's this amazing, beautiful organ that brings a lot of pleasure, which a lot of us didn't know about for a long time. I think it's not like this or like this, but you can look at it from many ways. Like, to say it's just for pleasure, pleasure itself is already really like, oh my God, yes, it's for pleasure. It's really beautiful because if you look at the clitoris, it has all this erectile tissue. It is spread out through the like parts around the vagina and the vulva. And so if you, for example, if you look at a penis in not an erect state, how much it can stretch. So if you see what erectile tissue can do, like the stretchiness of it, with birth, for example, when a baby needs to be born, like all this erectile tissue there is able to stretch. So it also has this function of, it is important when you make babies. So when you get aroused, when this whole area is opening up, is like the whole vagina is opening up to receive also the semen, but also when the baby is coming out.
Why is it important for women to know about their clitoris and about their pleasure? What are the benefits?
I think it starts to, so also, like I said, what pleasure brings in your life. Pleasure is life. It brings aliveness. It really empowers you to know your own body and to feel your own body. And what's a really important thing also, because a lot of times when people want to experience different sexuality or different intimacy with their partner, and they want a better sex or they want to improve these things, people always think they need to learn things to do with the other, but it all starts with yourself. So once you really know your own body, when you learn how your own body works and what you like and what you don't like, and you start exploring that, it really starts with yourself, and from there it is the connection with the other person. But if you don't really know your own body, if you don't know how it works, then you're already lost, you could say. So it's really, it's empowering and beautiful and amazing.
Yeah, when you feel good, you can feel good in every area of your life.
Yeah.
Right? So you mentioned before, like the different energies that you can feel, the languages, the messages in the female genital anatomy. Can you walk us through them? What areas have what energies, and also according to what theory, like Western, Eastern, whatever theory? I would like for us women to be more aware of every single part and how we can use that to work for ourselves.
Well, first of all, it's more of the Eastern philosophy, most of it. The Taoist, the Eastern philosophy. It already came a little bit in my mind when we talked about the creativity and the sexual fire.
So this is so cool. This is very heavy. Imagine it being in your body. This is the pelvic floor, right?
Yeah, so this is your pelvis and your pelvic area, your pelvic floor, the muscles. And here inside, you see the bladder and the womb and the ovaries. So what a lot of women often don't know is that the womb and the ovaries are really deep in the pelvis. So they're not like somewhere around your belly button or something like that. When I talk about the different energies of the ovaries as well, so if you know now a little bit like the uterus and the ovaries that are quite deep in your pelvic area and your lower belly, to take a moment and sit with yourself, close your eyes and breathe, and to connect with your pelvic area, and then try to feel in to your left ovary first, maybe, and then to your right ovary, and from there to your womb, and from there to your cervix, and from there to your vagina and your vulva. Do that first, and to check in if you can connect with the energy or like kind of the personality of it, and to see what comes up. What kind of energy, what kind of feeling, what kind of, maybe if you talk about the language of the body again, what kind of image, what kind of movement, because they have a little bit different energies. If you like that, You can, of course, always do it, but maybe pause the podcast for a second and to have moments yourself to feel in to those different areas. So there's also a difference between your left and your right ovary. It should feel like a different energy than your womb energy. But it's also, if you've never actually been aware of this and tried it, it could also be that you try it and nothing comes up. And I always really want to support that, because this is really how it starts, to maybe first hear nothing and to be in silence and to just be. So if you don't feel or hear or have any idea of a different energy, don't worry about it. It will come eventually. We talked about the creativity and the creative power and the sexual energy. And a lot of that comes from the ovaries. So the ovaries are actually more like the factory of sexual desire, really the fire, also the creativity. And then the left ovary is more of a yin and the right ovary is more of a yang energy. So the left ovary more stands for this, receiving energy, nurturing yourself. Yeah, really seeing what's there inside to create. Maybe also a little bit more playfulness, beauty. And then your right ovary is more of a putting it out into the world. So really standing your ground, showing yourself in your creativity. So this is like more of the energy of the ovaries. Then the womb energy it's also this creative energy, but it's really of a different kind of different vibe, to say. Like I said before, it's this, you could see it as this whole universe in itself. The womb is more of a transformative energy. If you look at your cycle also, it's holding and releasing. So when you release a project, it's about releasing something also into the world. Also with birth, with pregnancy, when a baby goes into the world, it's also releasing. But it's also about holding something until it's ready to be released.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's really this, it can hold something to be transformed. Your womb just has this really deep, innate knowing, wisdom. Your intuition, your intuitive knowing and energy. So that's there. And then the cervix. So the vagina and the cervix, they are like, both of them, they are this gatekeeper and to the world, to the womb inside. And also if you see like your cervix is really deep inside your vagina, it's also this contact to your deep feminine powers, to your deep feminine knowing. If you go with a finger inside and you ask the cervix, you invite the cervix, then it will also come towards your finger. And it's really there about, this gatekeeper of knowing what to receive and what not to receive. You could say it also has this energy that if you would touch her, that connects also to your heart. There's also this line between your cervix and your heart. And the vagina, it's not maybe the energy, it's about sexuality, about also a gatekeeper. It's the channel, the birth channel from the inside to the outside world and the other way around. But also it's just so beautiful because the vagina is this self-cleaning environment. So it has a little bit several aspects and energies.
And what about the clitoris?
I think the clitoris is like, it's also, of course, this part of the vagina, of the gatekeeper. Like I said before, also I had this golden arch, that's really the entrance of the temple. It's this wise and powerful arch and energy that is there. But that's maybe also a little bit from my own experience.
And the vulva and the labia, like the outside, is it also like a gatekeeper?
Yeah, it all has its function, and it's definitely, it's part of the vulva and the vagina. But yeah, it's the outside part, and it's definitely part of the gatekeeping part of it. Yeah.
We have a community question. Let's hear it.
I've heard that emotional trauma can be stored in the pelvic floor, but I'm not sure how to recognize if that's happening in my body. How can I start to notice if I'm holding tension or emotions in my pelvic floor? And what are some gentle ways to release that tension?
Well, I think we all store attention and emotions in our body and also in our pelvic area. So signs to know that maybe you have a lot stored there is that when you really notice that it's difficult to make contact, it's difficult to go there with your attention, it's difficult to go there with your breath. Physical problems, when you experience pain. Yeah, so that can be incontinence problems or pain with sex or other problems. But also quite some women after birth, they experience trauma, either physical or emotional. So there can be a lot of reasons, and also to notice it. Some ways to start yourself with working with it is everything that helps you to connect more to your femininity, to say, to your body. If you find it a little bit like, oh, to work with my body might be a little bit scary, the first step could be just to go and walk in nature, to go outside and to connect to nature. When you start connecting to nature, then it's also to connect to your own nature, to be creative, to go and draw, to make things, to bake. It's also partly self-love, but also, be creative and go into nature. Another thing what helps and what I also really love is to go and dance. Dance in your living room. Dance on songs that make you happy. Dancing really helps you in your body. It's movement. It helps you ground. Yeah, so that's things you can do.
I especially noticed that when I was twerking a lot, that I felt so much like release.
Yeah.
Twerking, just shaking my ass.
Yeah, shaking your ass is the best.
Yeah.
And then there are many other exercises what can help you to ground yourself and connect more to your pelvic area.
And do you have any exercises how to release emotions?
To release emotions, it's mostly even to give space when they come up. And for me, personally, emotions, I cannot force emotions out. They are there or they're not, but to really give space to when they come up. And it's like emotions are stored in the body, and once you start working with your body, and that's either by dancing or movement, or that's also the pelvic therapy I give. It's partly based on when you start moving tissue, emotions can come up because they can be released. And it's also with the breath work that emotions can come up and can be released. So to release emotions, it's by movement, or finding somebody that can support you with it. We're now talking about examples that you can do yourself, but for a lot of things, it's really nice and really important to find support with it. And I also think that's really a healing part of the sessions that I, for example, give that a lot of people in holistic care, but I really think that it is you that does the work. It's you and your body. I don't have a magic wand to release you from any problems. But of course, I have my expertise, but it's so much about that somebody's there for you, that you don't have to do it alone. To feel the support in your process and to feel seen, that everything can be there and you are really normal and nothing is wrong with you. Important for so many people to experience and to have the guidance in your process.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here and teaching so much about the pelvic floor, the heart-womb connection, that it's so important to have that as a woman, and to not forget your clitoris, your pleasure, because it's such a life force, and all the energies also within pelvis is very interesting.
Thank you. It was really nice to be here and to have this talk.
And so we always want to end with beautiful affirmations. So please repeat after me. I release tension and invite healing into my pelvic floor and entire being. I trust the connection between my heart and womb to guide me with love and intuition. Until next time, Umas. If you enjoyed this video, it would be amazing if you could give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to learn even more, join our community. Connect, share, and learn by joining our online and offline events. You can meet other women and ask your burning questions to our experts, and by subscribing to our weekly educational newsletter. The links are all below, so feel welcome to join our Umaversity tribe.